My wife, Adeline, and I got married 2 years ago. We met when we worked together, and both of us were in our 30s at the time. Adeline always dreamed of having a family, so after we got married, she chose to be a stay-at-home wife. She did great in this role, taking care of all the housework with so much energy, which made me feel lucky and happy. I was happy with how we shared our duties and also wanted to have children. However, 2 years passed and we hadn't started our family yet. At first, I wasn't too worried. I started thinking it might be nice to enjoy our time together a little longer before having kids. With this in mind, I didn't bring it up again. One night, my coworkers invited me to a last-minute end-of-year party. It was a surprise, so I called Adeline to tell her. I apologized for the sudden change and asked if she was okay with it. She was very understanding and told me it was fine, even saying she'd make something for me to eat if I came home hungry. Her kindness made me appreciate her even more. After the party, I walked home from the train station. The streets were quiet, and I was lost in thought when something unexpected happened. I saw Adeline across the street, but she wasn't alone. She was walking with a man I didn't know. They were holding hands, laughing, and looked very comfortable with each other. My heart sank. I quickly hid behind a bus stop to try and understand what I had just seen. Looking back, I realized there had been signs that Adeline was acting strangely. She knew my work schedule well and had started asking me strange questions about when I'd be home. I also noticed she was spending more time on her phone. Whenever I asked her about it, she said she was just playing games. But seeing her with that man made everything clear. My stomach twisted as I realized that Adeline was having an affair. I wanted to confront her right then. Doubt started to creep in. What if I was misunderstanding things? What if I was jumping to conclusions? I hesitated, convincing myself to wait for more proof. A few days later, my chance came. Adeline left her phone on the living room table while she went to take a bath. I knew it was wrong, but the uneasy feeling kept bothering me. I couldn't ignore it. I unlocked her phone and went through her messages. What I found broke me. Adeline hadn't deleted anything. The messages between her and her lover were explicit and full of affection. There were many selfies of them together, laughing and smiling. What hurt the most was finding out they had been planning a 1-year anniversary trip, a spa getaway, scheduled for the next week. I felt like my whole marriage had been a lie. Our happy memories suddenly felt tainted. I took photos of everything I found as proof, then carefully put her phone back where I found it. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind was filled with thoughts of betrayal, and I felt completely lost. 2 days later, Adeline casually mentioned that she was going on a trip with her university friend Alice the following Wednesday. I already knew the truth. This was a spa trip she had planned with her lover. I decided to act like I didn't know anything and even encourage her to have fun, but inside, I was filled with anger. I was furious with Adeline for betraying me, and I was frustrated with myself for allowing her to deceive me for so long. That day, I decided to hire a private investigator to get more evidence. The day of Adeline's trip came, and she left early in the morning. Excited, she left early in the morning, full of energy. I had secretly taken the day off from work, planning to distract myself with video games. A few hours later, I got a message from her saying she had arrived safely at her destination. It's been so long since I last saw Alice. I'm really happy for her, she wrote. But the message just made me feel sick. She was on a trip with her lover, and she was acting like everything was fine. I stayed calm and replied, telling her not to worry about things at home and to enjoy herself. I even jokingly added that I was expecting some souvenirs, saying, "Of course, I won't cheat on you." The next day, she messaged me again, asking, "Good morning. Are you eating proper meals? I can't seem to use my credit card. I wonder what's going on. Could you send me some money?" At that moment, I knew it was time to confront her. I had blocked her card, so I replied, "You can't use your card because I blocked it. I won't send you any money, so ask the person you're with," She seemed confused and angry, replying, "What are you saying? I can't do that. I told you I'm with Alice. I can't just borrow money from her. Why would you block the card? Did you max it out?" She tried to make it sound like I was being unreasonable, so I calmly explained, "No, that's not it." Her frustration grew, and she started scolding me. "Why are you acting so weird? Have you gone crazy?" she asked, her tone full of disbelief. I couldn't help but laugh at how ridiculous it all was. "You're the one acting weird. Don't you realize what you're doing?" I said flatly, "Who are you with right now?" There was a pause. Then she stammered, "I told you I'm with Alice." I responded, "Well, before we got married, we had lunch with Alice. I even exchanged numbers with her. I called her today to wish her a fun trip with you, but she didn't know anything about a trip." The silence on the other end was deafening. After what felt like forever, Adeline finally spoke. "I'm sorry. I should have told you. I came here alone. I didn't want you to worry, so I lied about being with Alice. I'm sorry," but her apology felt empty. I was done. I had figured everything out on my own. I said firmly, "I know everything." Without waiting for her to respond, I hung up the phone, grabbed the suitcase I had packed earlier, and took one last look around the house. Without saying another word, I walked out, leaving everything behind. That evening, I met with the private investigator I had hired. He gave me a file with all the evidence he had collected over the past few weeks. I thanked him, paid him, and left feeling a strange mix of relief and dread. Not long after, Adeline called me again. Her voice was frantic, filled with confusion and panic. "Owen, where are you? I got home and your stuff is gone. What's with these divorce papers on the tables?" I could hear the panic in her voice, but I stayed calm. "I've moved out," I said. "I've already rented a new place. Please sign the divorce papers and send them to my parents' house. I won't be seeing you anymore." At first, Adeline seemed confused, but that quickly turned into anger. She demanded to know why I was doing this to her, without even talking about it first. She said she could sue me for it. Then, her tone shifted to exhaustion. She asked if I thought she wouldn't find out about my affair, saying she had seen what I left inside the envelope. There was a pause, and I heard the sound of paper rustling as she opened the envelope. "That's just an old business partner," I said. "He helped me a lot when I was working, so I couldn't say no when he invited me to dinner. How did you even get these photos? Have you been stalking me?" Her voice wavered, full of disbelief. "Wait, you spoke to my parents? Why didn't you talk to me first? I didn't think you were capable of something like this," I replied. Her anger didn't bother me. "You're right," I said. "We should get divorced. If you're happier with him, I hope you find the happiness you're looking for." Weeks passed, and I started getting used to my quieter life, but Adeline wasn't done. She called me again, this time furious. "Owen, because of you, his wife found out everything. She took the kids and left him. His family knows now, too." I couldn't help but feel a twisted sense of satisfaction. Now that his wife knew, maybe they'd get divorced and she and I could finally be together. Her voice softened, almost pleading. I wanted that, but now he's telling me he can't get a divorce and doesn't want to see me anymore. Why did this have to happen? It felt strange hearing her try to get sympathy from me after everything. "He chose his family over you, Adeline. His wife's family is wealthy, after all." She tried to change the subject. "Owen, I've said some hurtful things, but I miss you. Why don't we try again?" Her selfishness was clear. "I have no interest in going back to the way things were," I said firmly. "Please just sign the divorce papers. My lawyer has already been in touch with you. From now on, direct all communication through him." There was silence on the other end, and I took the chance to end the call.